Welcome back to the Mr. Verzace Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Verzace himself, Rick Reno, and joining me today is former world champion Raymond Ford. On May 30th, he will attempt to become a two-division world champion when he challenges WBC super featherweight belt holder O'Shaquie Foster at the Fertitta Center in Houston, Texas, live and exclusive on DAZN. Ray, you were raised in Camden, New Jersey?
Yes.
Talk to me about being raised in Camden. I know it's a tough area, how your upbringing was, and what eventually led you to the sport of boxing.
So I used to fight a lot as a kid at home, school. I used to get expelled from schools, suspended every day. Well, not every day, but like every time I would go back to school, I would get suspended that same day. And then that's what started leading to like expulsions and things like that. And then I started going to disciplinary schools. But growing up, I mean, I felt like it was fun for me, like, you know, growing up in the city, going outside, block parties, things like that, you know, is everything, you know how the cities is on the East Coast, everybody close, like the houses is close together. So I had a lot of friends and things like that. But that's what got me into fighting was, you know, fighting a lot, like back at home and in the streets and schools, everything. So, and then it was a kid on my block. He was a boxer, and he seen me fight one time, and he basically like took me under his wing. He was like older. I think I was like 9 at the time, and he was like 14 or 15 or something like that. But he ended up taking me under his wing. He told me I reminded him of Floyd Mayweather just because like how I talk. I used to talk a lot of shit. So,
Is that what led to most of the fights?
Yeah, for sure.
So when you were, me being an East Coast guy myself, so I know how everything is kind of like congested and everything is sort of like neighborhood rivalries, territorial beefs. Yeah. It's not even like everyone always thinks of like gangs, but it's not even has anything to do with gangs. If you're on one block, someone comes over from another block, you're not from the neighborhood.
Right.
The hands could be swinging.
Yeah, or more.
So is that like a lot of times like people would try to, do you think it was more of like a testing ground when you were younger? Like someone would try to test you and like bigger kids, stuff like that?
Yeah, I used to fight a lot of bigger kids because I was always small. Yeah. But I would be the one that would be testing them too. So it was like, I was like, yeah.
I'll take it to them before they take it to me.
Yeah, for sure.
And how was it when you first got into boxing and you started doing it? Did a point of time come to you when you were an amateur where you said, you know, I'm really good at this. This might be a way for me to make a living?
I felt like I always had talent, like even when I was sparring and things like that. Because I used to watch a lot of Floyd, and I would just be like do everything that I would see him do in the gym and things like that. So I knew I always had like the talent. My coaches always used to say that I had fast hands. And the only thing was me, you know, being dedicated to it and really like, you know, staying locked in with it. And then once I, you know, started really locking in, I knew I could be able to take it as far as I wanted to take it.
So was Floyd one of the fighters you primarily like paid attention to when you were younger? Were there other guys that you saw out there that you were like, you know, I like how this guy does this or does that?
Yeah, Floyd was like the start of it. Like that was like the only boxer that I knew, and I other than Muhammad Ali, but you know he wasn't during my time and things like that. But he was like the only boxer that I knew that of that time. So it was him, and then it was Adrian Broner, and then I started like getting to the amateurs like Rashid Warren, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, you know, guys like that.
So I know you're good friends with Shakur. How did that friendship begin?
My first time meeting Shakur, I was 13. It was at a tournament in Mesquite, Nevada. It was my first national tournament, and I remember him just winning and making it look easy every day. And as time went on, like I started seeing him like do his Olympic run, because it was a point in time where I wasn't boxing. I stopped boxing for like a few years, but I remember he was making his Olympic run and things like that. And then I kind of got back into boxing probably like a year after that, after he went to the Olympics. And then I got on the USA team. I actually fought one of his close friends that he was close with from New Jersey as well, Malik. And he was there when I beat him. And then I got on the USA team, and that's when like we really start like, you know, getting like building our relationship and things like that.
Now, you're going in with Foster. He's got a tough style. When did Foster first come on your radar? When did you first hear about him?
I heard about him when I was in the amateurs. I used to see him fight on Showbox. Seen him fight on Showbox a couple times. And yeah, that was my first time like hearing of him. But then I never really like paid him no mind until like he became world champion. And then I knew I was gonna be moving up to 130 soon because I was already big for the weight class at 126. So I had my eyes on like the world champions at 130 already. You know,
speaking of Shakur, do you think he almost gave you a little bit of assist with this fight? Because him and Foster have had some some words back and forth, and I know he told O'Shaquie that maybe I'll give you a chance. You got to fight Ray first.
Nah, see, it started with me and O'Shaquie. Yeah. People don't know because Shakur is obviously the bigger name, so everybody's just gonna, you know, they tune into that. But it started with me and O'Shaquie first. O'Shaquie brought Shakur into it because he felt some type of way over, you know, Shakur saying that me and him was gonna spar each other to get me ready to fight O'Shaquie, which I don't understand because what's the problem with that? We in the same gym, we in the same camp. Why wouldn't you know, we get some working?
Now, it seems to be a little bit of disdain between the two of you. Where does it stem from? Because I know a lot of times, you know, fighters, they'll talk shit for hype, but this seems to be a little bit legitimate. You know, some guys will say, oh, I said this and that. It was just for promotion. This seems to be a little bit more than promotion. What does it stem from and how did it start? Was it something on social media or something said behind the scenes?
I mean, for me, it really started. I mean, I could go back to where it really started.
You could go back. You could go back.
All right, so it was a point in time where I was getting ready for a fight. This was before I was like even in the world title talks at 126. I was getting ready for a fight. And I had text O'Shaquie on Instagram like, yo, can we get some sparring in? Like, can we get some work in? He's like, yeah, cool. Like, we can get some work in. Like, I'll come down, whatever. And we set up the date and everything. And when the day came, I'm texting him like, we still good for the day? And I texted him the day before, the night before.
Yeah. I
texted him like, we still good for tomorrow? And he left me on scene. And when I got to the gym, he wasn't there. So that's where like, I'm like, damn, this is soft. Like, why would you set up sparring? Give me your word that we gonna work and then you don't show up. You feel me? So like, I ain't respect that about him, but I never really took it like personal or nothing like that. I just was like, all right. I'm used to that going on back on at home in Jersey and, you know, in the Philly area. You know, a lot of people don't want to spar me back at home. So, but it was gonna be our first time working. I never met him before or nothing. So that kind of like threw me off a little bit. But after I won my title at 126, he went to Twitter and said I was food. So that's how, you know, I started getting on that time with him.
Yeah, because I think I'd asked him something to the similar question. He said something along the lines of that you called him out or mentioned his name after a fight.
Yeah. Everybody seen that on TV. But he acting like I just singled him out. I called out everybody. If you go back, go look at the interview after I beat Kumatov. I said, I want to move up to 130. I called out O'Shaquie Foster, Lamont Roach, and whoever else was the champion at the time.
Now, when you were going up to your new weight class, was he the guy that you first said to yourself in your head, that's who I want to get in the ring with? Or was there someone else and the Foster fight came along and you said, I'll fight him. Give me the contract.
Yeah, nah, he was the first one that came to my head, especially after he said what he said on Twitter. Because, like, I felt like you ain't even I ain't even in your division yet. You saying on food. I mean, you know, I felt like you was hating on my moment for real, for real. That's why I really feel like you just hating. And he ain't want me to, probably ain't really want to fight. I mean, I still don't think he really want to fight me, but you know.
So it sounds like you got a little bit of a point to prove in this fight.
I got a point to prove every fight.
But in this fight where, I don't know, I mean, I've seen some of the buildups to some of your fights in the past. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody call you food.
I mean, you know, we gonna see who get. Never mind. That was about to be crazy. I ain't gonna say that.
You can say anything. It's uncensored on this show. You can say anything.
We gonna see who the food is on May 30th.
When what did you take away from his last performance with Stephen Fulton?
Good performance.
Did you were you surprised that it? I think some people thought it would be a little bit more competitive. Were you surprised that it wasn't as competitive?
I did at first, but after like knowing hearing what went on in Fulton's camp, I wasn't surprised. So
now you had the tough fight with Nick Ball, close fight. Things didn't go your way.
Yeah.
What did you take away from that fight? What do you think like went wrong? Like after you reflect on it, watch the footage. Was there anything that you saw that you said, I did too much of that, or I should have did more of this, it was working?
It took me some time to like loosen up and warm up. I can blame it on the weight all day, but it's definitely things that like I could have, you know, did better that probably could have made the fight a little more easier to where it could have swung my way. I probably could have started like a little early I probably could have started a little earlier. Yeah.
You think you might have played in a little bit too much into his style, like fighting his fight more than your fight?
I felt like I had to in that moment. Yeah, I felt like I had to in that moment. But what I took from that fight is that I'm really a bad motherfucker because I like that fight. I feel like anybody who was feeling the way that I felt on that night, feeling drained against somebody like Nick Ball, who's a nonstop, you know, puncher. He probably would have got him up out of there. He probably would have stopped him or whatever. But I showed my dog, my grit, and that I can bite down even in the, you know, later rounds, still trying to figure out a way to, you know, make it happen for myself.
I mean, it was a good fight. It was a close fight. I mean, I was at that fight.
Yeah.
And I remember at the end, you know, being someone who's watching it at ringside, I wasn't sold on, you know, one side or the other. I think if they would have, you know, announced you winning, I wouldn't have been like, you know, this is some huge robbery and let's investigate everything.
Right, yeah. I think it was like it could have went either way. Like I'm not mad at the decision. Everything is a learning experience. That's what I'm gonna say. You live and you learn, and I just, you know, take that moment and get better from it, and, you know, make smarter decisions.
Were you a little surprised that his reign ended so quickly?
I felt like he held the belt down for a little bit. We had five defenses or something like that.
Well, was it that many? Maybe I lost track. I know when they made the fight with Figueroa, a lot of people had Figueroa as almost like an afterthought in that fight.
Yeah.
They were already looking at Nick Ball and Inoue, whoever else, and they, you know, sometimes it's just someone you don't see coming.
Yeah. I mean, with that fight, I had it like 50-50 because of the styles. I knew it was like they both coming to, you know, bang. So, you know, anybody can win that type of fight.
Yeah, I think I remember I didn't catch that fight live as it happened, and someone called me immediately and was like, Nick Ball just got knocked out. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Nick Ball just got knocked out. They were like, yeah, he got like practically face planted.
Yeah.
Then I had to run home to catch it.
Yeah. I still haven't even watched the full fight, but I did see the highlight where he got stopped.
So in How many of you said you watched a couple of O'Shaquie Foster's fights, even dating back to before you went pro?
Yeah.
What do you think is the most complicated thing about his style? Because some people have compared his style to being like a spoiler, like he spoils the style of the other guy.
I mean, probably them. He ain't gonna spoil my style. I think O'Shaquie is a good boxer. I think he got a good, decent IQ. He got a good jab. I think he's a good boxer.
Is there anything you see as far as, his fights, some of the decisions have been close, and based on what happened with you and Nick Ball, do you think you have to be a lot more decisive in the rounds to separate yourself?
Definitely, for sure. He the world champion, so I gotta come in there and take the belt from the champion. I don't want to go in there and have a close fight with him. That's not my job. That's not what I plan to do.
Based on some of the statements he said, what do you think that he gets? What's he most wrong about? I would say about what that you feel when he talks about Ray Ford.
That I'm a dollar store version of
who do you say you're a dollar store version of?
Of Shakur. I think that's where he wrong at.
I've seen some of the stuff you said. You're oozing with confidence to this fight. So I know you see certain things where you're like, this is my time now.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I see a lot of things where I just be like, hey, hey, that's all I can say. Like, I be seeing a lot of comments, a lot of things that he say, people from his side saying things like that. I just be like, okay. I'm glad they think the way they think, though.
What would it mean to you as far as, after you've reached the highs, obviously anytime you suffer a loss, you go into the lows. What would it mean to you personally to become a 2-division champion in this game?
It just it would definitely mean a lot to me, but I'm not like satisfied with just becoming a 2-division world champion. I know there's a lot more that I can do, and I'm not going, just stay content with, becoming a 2-division world champion. I just feel like this is another step into me leading and, building my legacy and possibly becoming in the Hall of Fame one day. So I'm just, adding on until my career is over.
Not to, a lot of guys take it fight by fight, and not to look past Foster, but what would be the goal for you going off of a fight like this? Would you want to unify the division? Would it be the next biggest name out there, maybe someone like Emmanuel Navarrete?
Yeah.
Or, how long do you want to stick around the weight class?
I be asking myself that same question, like, after this fight, what would I do? I'm still just like, I still don't even know. I still don't even have the answer for it, to be honest. I think my main focus is just to get the job done. Like, that's all I can really, like, see and think of right now. But after I win it, I still probably have to, sit and think about it for a little bit to see what my next move would be.
Is someone like Navarrete interesting to you as an opponent?
For sure, definitely.
Because it seems like that would be the natural person for the winner of this fight. Yeah. That would be the natural big fight of the weight class.
Yeah, definitely. I think Navarrete is, outside of this fight, I think that's the biggest fight in the division. And I feel like, with him having his Mexican fan base, I feel like me and him coming together, off of me coming off of this fight, this is going to have a big build up, and, the history behind this fight, a lot of people going to tune into it. So I feel like this fight going to take me to the next level. So with me and Navarrete clash, I think it's going to be a big fight.
Now, would you rank this fight as the biggest or toughest fight of your career to date?
The biggest, yeah. The toughest, I don't think so, but
you won't know until you probably get in there.
Yeah.
How do you expect the crowd to be? Do you expect your fans to show out? Do you expect a hostile crowd?
I expect.
I know you're not a guy that's like swayed by the crowd, but
yeah, I'll be locked in. I expect them to be there for him. We in Texas, Texas people, they gonna ride for their own, rightfully so. So I'm expecting to get the boos and all that walking into the arena, but that's gonna feel me. Like that's gonna turn me into a different person on that night, and I can't wait for it.
So I'm sure based on that, that's gonna have you being more decisive in the rounds.
Yeah,
because when you're in those type of crowds, he could just flick a jab and the crowd
crazy.
erupts.
Yeah. But my job is to keep them quiet. Yeah.
So you're going to be one of those guys that wants to take the crowd out of the fight early in the early rounds.
For sure. Definitely.
So 2026, a new year. Map out for me what would be a perfect 2026 for Ray Ford.
I knock out Shakur Foster. And I fight at home. And then probably unify in the next fight. No. Well, I'll probably fight once this year. One more time after this. So, yeah.
So, to you, it would always be one of those things to get on the bucket list. Win another world title. Make a first defense in front of your hometown fans.
Yeah, that's what I wanted after my first world title. If I stayed at the weight, but other opportunities came, and I took, obviously I took the other opportunity, but I definitely always wanted to fight home.
So, May 30th, hostile crowd, Shakur Foster. What could the people expect from Ray Ford?
Me doing whatever I want in there, dominating. I know he said the same thing, but I'm really going bring some pain.
And you heard those are some fighting words from this man right here. And I want everybody to tune in May 30th, live and exclusive on DAZN. Ray Ford is going to go for another world title against the WBC super featherweight champion Shakur Foster at the Fertitta Center in Houston, Texas. Tune in.